What has happened in towards Mugabe era? First, there was crass ignorance. I went into cabinet. I couldn't believe. I called CITIC, the Chinese investment company. They say they want to build a new town in Zimbabwe, like they've done in Angola. And they want to build a steel plant because Zimbabwe has got all the resources. Wow, in Kasuku area, they say, as this is Zimbabwe, as this is I couldn't believe it. But, hey, this is after the top. They have brought in 40 experts. I called the largest company, the largest private company doing steel. Number one in the whole world doing stainless steel, Tsingshan. They host the Mugabe for a luncheon under the auspices of Xi Jinping in 2014. He then says, I'm going to offer to build a steel plant for you at 4 billion. Grace comes out of the meeting. He says, Andipa television, chete, mana mchango mchapi wa mabillion. So mchaji. And then she sends her brother or her cousin to the men afterward to say, I want 60% if you want to come to Zimbabwe under the indigenization. Zimbabwe gives yourself a PhD. It's actually denigrated. That's why I was so happy. I was so happy the other day that the High Court, everybody moves around with a PhD zero. I mean, if you're a PhD, it means you have thought about something which deserves intellectual credit to change people's lives. All the PhDs of Zimbabwe, all these people, they are empty. They can't change people's lives. But it's another story. He was essentially, Mugabe was not in that war. You know, by 1975 at Chimoyo, Mugabe is thrown out of the camps by Frelimo.
Yeah, by Samora,
Yeah, because he got involved in a brawl over some girl, you know, with the governor of Manica, the worst country. I mean, and we are coming from university. We knew him. We defend him against those who came from Chipinge and also who were pro-Stole and those who were pro-Mzore. They don't want this man. And then we from US, no. We come from Harare. He's a good man. We take care. And the next thing, we are starving. Why? Because he's denying this woman, the governor, access to the Zimbabwean girl. And the governor has got a country. He has one.
Were there not enough women?
Can you imagine? Then the trucks are coming from the frontier. Truck after truck of young people going to war. There's no food in the camp. Then the camp comes to us and says, you university people, you came from, now you see what your man is doing to us. So we went to him, we said, please let the girl go. And the next thing, all the trucks came into the camp and they had food. So they were saying, we came here not because we were hungry, we want guns. We are now being denied even food because of you.
So this is Helen of Manica.
So you see, Mugabe ends up in exile in Kirimani, exiled by Frelimo. And there is another story about how he comes back in 76 when we were going to Geneva.
Okay.
And the Americans insisted on him becoming part of the delegate, but that's the story of another day. He comes and he stays essentially in Maputo, which is 400 kilometers away from the front. He refuses to train. When all the others are now shokuns, because the rules were that if you are going to become the leadership of
you have to go through basic military training.
Through military training. The only person who had been exempted to that was Chitepo, the founder. So Mugabe, because he was probably afraid that one day if he gets trained, he may be asked to go to the front.
He was afraid of that.
He refuses to train. So he spends all the time in Maputo, essentially as a distant strategist of that war. And Tongogara comes after the Vashandik young people. Had gone. So people fought for the prospect of a better life.
For sure. So if you look at
that... So if you don't deliver a better life, you essentially have betrayed the people who fought. Starlink, the Anglo-Saxon lobby wanted a certain Zimbabwean businessman to be the one who is given the license for Starlink. They went to Elon, and Elon says, why should I give you? You have nothing. This is my investment. What is your role? So that businessman somehow was convinced that the whole cabinet will go on his side. You understand? Then I went into the cabinet. I then got the feelers of the Afrikaners. They said, why does your president want to give access to essentially a technology which drops like rain or sunlight, rays of sunlight into his country? It doesn't need a switch from a certain individual. So we would rather deal with your president than with that individual who has been cavorting himself around their offices. So the president issues the license direct of Starlink. It becomes a license from the one who is elected. You understand?
Okay.
So the pretensions of that businessman floundered.